Why are you so hostile?
Yeah.
My projects are in piles.
Let's talk about that for a second. Who are you really angry at?
The internet.
Okay. All right. Well,
Glad
before
we
this
figured
turns
that
into a one of those kind of sessions, let's get started here. Welcome back to the podcast Redeemed. We're continuing on with Moses.
Lot to
There's
cover.
So much to
Yeah,
talk
Moses
about
is
Moses.
a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a lot to talk about Joseph, but Moses has
Even
got
more.
Moses
Yeah.
might
there's a lot more.
be double. I was trying to think it was like double.
Or at least, yeah.
Because there's just a lot to cover. Because then even, well, no spoilers, but even when the big stuff happens, there's more stuff after that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And with Moses, there's a lot of God's power, miraculous things that happen. Yes, there was those with Joseph, but not in this same way.
One of the few men to just straight up argue with God
Yeah,
Yeah.
and change God's mind.
and change
Yeah.
God's mind.
Yeah,
That's true.
Yeah, he's going
He
to
should
wipe him
have
out, and Moses.
Like,
Whoa,
wait,
whoa,
wait,
whoa,
wait.
he can't. Whoa.
He's got to be wearing a T-shirt up there in heaven. I changed God's mind. Only one.
Totally.
This guy.
So on our last podcast, we left off with Moses. He killed an Egyptian, and then basically had to flee. That's it in a nutshell.
Yep.
And he winds up in Midian, where he's attending a flock of sheep. And now we have him. He's tending his flock of sheep, and he's on a mountain. And he notices a bush, and it's on fire. But now the key here is it's on fire, but it's not burning up.
Yep.
Which is not normal.
No.
Normally, it would burn up.
Yes. So if you're reading, he thinks he needs to go investigate because he sees this bush that's not burning up.
Well, I was gonna say, I would like to know how long he stared at that bush.
Is it burning?
Yeah. Well, and then thinking, okay, should be done by now. Should be done by now.
Mm-hmm.
Should be done now.
Still burning.
Like, how long did he stand there before he's like, okay, I gotta go check this
Yeah.
out?
When the Lord saw that he had gone over to look, God called to him from within the bush, Moses, Moses. Now, the amazing part is that Moses had enough knowledge to say, "Here I am."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because
I would have ran. Like, a bush is talking to you, I'm out.
What kind of bush is that?
And
But
how does it
now-
know my name?
Yeah, but now today with all the pranking stuff that you could do, I just figured somebody had some kind of microphone set up in there. You know what I'm saying?
That's fair.
So, but they didn't have that back then, so it's not a problem.
True.
And then, of course, he says, "Don't come any closer. Take off your sandals, for the place where you are standing is holy ground." And then this is where he has the discussion. He describes how he has seen the misery of his people in Egypt, and I've heard them crying out because of their slave drivers, and I am concerned about their suffering. So I have come down to rescue them from the hand of the Egyptian and bring them up out of that land into a good and spacious land. And this is where he presents it and says, "Hey, Moses, guess what?
You're the guy.
You're the guy." And then, which just once again shows you who Moses kind of was and the courage that he had. Because, I mean, if this burning bush was talking to me and it says that this is holy ground, I would get the impression that this was probably God speaking to me. You know what I'm saying? I mean, just saying.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. All the clues are pointing to gotta be God.
I mean, from all the things that I've seen with the devil, when he comes to talk to people, he doesn't say, "Yo, take off your sandals, this is holy ground." You know.
Yeah.
So this is definitely God speaking to Moses. And Moses says, "Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and bring the Israelites out of Egypt?" Now, at this point, God's being patient.
For now.
For now. Okay, he's being patient. And God says, "I will be with you," which should have been enough for Moses. I mean, it would have been enough for, honestly, it would have been enough for me. Okay?
Okay.
If God had come to me and said, "Okay, I'm going to go with you," I'd have been like, but
That's fair.
granted, it's because, I have the whole Bible to look at.
And
Right.
I mean, if he knew what was going to happen, he probably would have been like, all right, let's go. But I mean, just being told, hey, you have to go in front of Pharaoh, say all these things, and then get these people out. Like, no, I don't want to do that.
No, and I would totally said no to that too.
Yeah, like, no, thank you.
But if God said,
There's
"Hey,"
so many other people.
but if God said, "Hey, I will go with you," it'd be like,
Be different.
okay, maybe
Let's
we can
talk
do this.
about this.
Maybe we can do this. You know what I'm saying? But I understand his hesitation to want to do it too. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, you just killed an Egyptian down there, so Pharaoh probably couldn't have taken that very well.
You're not going to be welcome.
They're
back
not
with
really.
open
I
arms.
don't know if you've been paying attention, God, but they don't really like me there.
Yeah.
I kind of did some things before I left.
Yeah.
And the Israelites are going to listen to me,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And then that's his next question. Moses says to God, suppose I go to the Israelites and say to them, the God of your fathers has sent me to you. And they ask, what is his name? What do I tell them? And I this line's always been burned.
This would have been the answer. I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, I'm up. I'll
Yeah.
go. I'll go.
And
Yeah.
God said to Moses, I am who I am. I mean, that is just,
Okay.
oh, yeah, just
Yeah.
a powerful statement.
All right,
Say
so
less.
do we go now,
Yeah.
tomorrow morning? When are we going?
Hmm. And this is what you are to say to the Israelites. I am has sent me to you. Which, that would have been an interesting, I mean, we're going to look at it here in a minute when he talks to them, but being the Israelites, so,
Some of the Israelites had to be thinking,
Who
Moses
am
has
I?
been drinking.
yeah,
The guy can't even say the name right.
Yeah.
yeah.
Does he know the name?
Uh-huh.
And it's just interesting because he breaks it down too. And God also says to Moses, say to the Israelites, the Lord, the God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob has sent you. Now that did have some power.
Yeah.
Yes.
They knew what that was.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And this is my name forever, and the name you shall call me from generation to generation. Still a very, very powerful bit of scripture there. I am that I am.
Mm-hmm.
And if you really think about that that's it really does sum up God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, then also not to be lost here is that this is literally a bush saying this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's also important. Like, hey,
Yeah.
bush on fire.
Yeah.
I am who I am. God of all these people. Yeah.
You're going to go to Egypt. I'm going with you.
Yeah.
I'm on it.
Yeah.
Which way is Egypt?
How do we get there?
Which way?
Yeah, and then he breaks out his breaks. Then at that point he breaks down the plan of what he's going to do with the Israelites and how I will make the Egyptians favorably disposed towards this people, so that when you leave, you will not go empty-handed. Every woman is to ask her neighbor. I mean, he lays it all out and how they're exactly supposed to do it.
He had a plan.
Well, yeah, and he even tells them that the elders of Israel will listen to you.
Mm-hmm.
And then to go to the king of Egypt, and that's a fun one too.
That'll
Yeah.
be a fun conversation.
Yeah. But at the same time, because we do know the whole story, we understand that this is going to take some time,
Yes.
and this is not going to be an easy conversation.
No.
No.
Another question I got from Moses. How long did you, when God first told you that, did you think it was going to be as easy as like I walk in,
Yeah.
I get the Israelites, and we just bounce?
That's a fair question.
You know what I mean?
Because when you read that, you're like, hey, I'm going to go in. This is all same day.
Yeah, we're gonna knock
You're like,
this out
guys,
in a day.
let's go. Pack it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to the land of the Canaanites, milk and
Pharaoh,
honey.
Peace
Blow
out.
Yeah.
Pharaoh, you're cool with this, right?
Yeah,
Let's go.
we're leaving.
We're taking the labor and we're leaving.
And he also, I mean, I didn't read it here either. But they're also going to have to take the land over when they get there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's another part of this whole process too. Is yes, this land is here, but hey, guess what? It's occupied. You guys are going to take it over.
Yeah.
Which, okay, great. I mean, God can do anything.
Right.
But it's like there's going to be a lot of work involved in this. And Moses is still not completely on board.
Nah. really want to be sold on this.
And that's where that's really where the story starts to shift and gets really interesting from the aspect of, already we have a burning bush, which is pretty miraculous. Okay, we got
Yeah.
that, but now we're fixing to see some serious signs that God says, in case they don't
Yeah.
believe you, here's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
I got some things.
Okay,
Yeah.
but I don't want to move into that yet. I want to save that for our next part.
Okay.
Okay. But what I want to pull from here is just that God does have a lot of power. You know what I'm saying? And God can use anything to cause. If he has to, he'll use a burning bush.
He will use a burning bush.
You know what I'm saying?
I really just wish sometimes he would just like burn it into the wall for me.
Yeah.
Go here, do this at this time, now.
He's done something similar to that
Yeah.
with Daniel.
Daniel, the writing on the wall.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
I mean, another great story. Hands
I would-
fingers right on the wall.
Yeah.
You know.
I would like the Daniel treatment.
Yeah.
Lion's Den, not as much.
Now that wasn't a
Yeah.
very
Writing
good
on the
message for the
wall.
king of that.
It was
place.
not.
I mean, I'm just saying, we'll get to that story sometime.
Uh-huh. Oh yeah, we'll get there for sure. That's another good one.
But yeah, but that terrified some people too. So God can do it any way he wants to, and for some reason he used a burning bush to get a hold of Moses' attention.
Why not?
And maybe it's because of the burning bush, it did hold Moses' attention because he's like, this is different. You
is
know what I'm
weird.
saying?
Yeah. Well, it definitely got his attention because
Yeah.
I'm sure bush is caught on fire pretty frequently, but
Yeah.
like it says, it doesn't burn up
Yeah.
because those bushes aren't overly big.
You think
Nope.
when it was like done, did it just look the same, or did it
Probably.
look burnt up?
That's what I think. I think it looked the
I would
same.
imagine
I'm
it
going to go
looked
with
the
the
same.
I would think it looked the same.
I like to
too.
think that it even had like some greenery on it. So
Yeah.
It actually
like,
was greener than when it
post-fire,
started.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, you can't also eliminate just the factor when God said to Moses, "I am who I am." I mean, he basically describes who he is, or who he is, and the power that he has.
Yep.
Okay, and the miraculous thing he's going to do to actually bring his people out of Israel, or out of Egypt. Excuse me.
Yep.
So I mean, there's just some very interesting and cool things going here. I mean,
And it's
Ultimately-
about to get crazy.
yeah, a lesson
Yeah.
for us is, if God calls us to do something, we better do it.
Yep.
And also, you can also see that when God calls us to do something, he's already begun the process of laying the footwork to get that job done.
Yes.
And even when it seems like it is something beyond what we can do, and that's the beauty is it says, "I will go with you." That should have been enough for Moses because God can do anything.
Right.
But granted, he didn't have everything we had.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
So
anyway.
it's easy for us reading the Bible and it's like, why'd you fight him on
What are
this,
you
Moses?
doing?
Haven't you read this thing?
So anyway, we got some really cool stuff happening, and we'll see you next time.